Okay, so this video is heavily inspired by a Reddit post I saw. So much so, it would be Illuminati levels of plagiarism if I did not mention it. Shout out to you. A couple of days ago, I found myself chuckling at a super detailed photo of Squidward as a kid. I think we all have a photo like this in our house. And I thought, man, SpongeBob had so many of these zoomed in frames, and they were all hilarious. I immediately knew that couldn't be the case as soon as I said it. Against my better judgment, I decided to watch a recent episode of SpongeBob to see if they still do the whole detailed close-up shtick.
Oh, but Squidward, you're a beautiful flower. You don't need to change it.
Okay, honest question. Guy, who's laughing at this? I remember SpongeBob being funnier, and I just couldn't rest my mind because I wanted to know when it started to degrade. So I did some digging and found out this thing's a whole technique people use all the time, and it's called the close-up. At least, that's what Bob Camp calls it. He was one of the main creators of a 90s show called Ren and Stimpy, and it was the first cartoon to popularize the close-up. Ren and Stimpy was a unique show. Yeah, that's a sentence. Mix up a lot of creepy character models, sexual innuendos, and graphically violent scenes, and you get Ren and Stimpy. If you did not watch it when you were younger, then you're lucky. But if you have, then you know that the close-ups in this show are less flattened Squidward eyes and more gruesome body horror. So much so, Bob stopped calling them close-ups and rather gross-ups.
Holy God, what are you showing me? Hey, come on! Open your eyes!
Look, I loved dumb boy humor growing up as much as the next kid, but this was honestly horrible to see on my TV. You can blame Bob's artistic obsession with this style on this man, a dude named Basil Wolverton, an American cartoonist who rose in fame for his very, again, unique comics. His art style was always grotesque details and misshapen body parts. You know, what every artist loves to draw. His rise to fame is kinda interesting, and it goes something like this. Another cartoonist named Al Cap had been milking a storyline in his comic strips of the ugliest woman, Lena the hyena, by redacting her face in the comic strips because she was too hideous for the average viewer. He had gained a decent following with everyone wondering what she looked like. He eventually decides to hold a contest to decide Lena's actual face in the comics, with Salvador Dali, Boris Karloff, and Frank Sinatra as judges. I mean, for only a $500 prize pool, the competition was stacked, with pros like Carl Banks, the creator of Uncle Scrooge, and Jack Cole, the creator of Plastic Man, as fan favorites to win. And this relatively unknown artist named Basil Wolverton beats the both of them, with a drawing that only kind of resembles a human and is more of a creature in human skin. I can respect the effort, but man, this is unsettling to look at. I say this to say that the close-up's origins was inherently weird and off-putting, and if it wasn't for my GOAT, I'd have probably written off this technique as something only Crab and Goyle could enjoy. This dude's name is Steven, and he made SpongeBob. And I think he's pretty funny. Aside from all the regular jokes from the first 3 seasons, every close-up him and his team worked on in SpongeBob felt intentional. Rather than just a close-up being the joke itself, there was actually a setup, a middle part, and then boom, the close-up. I'd explain it further, but honestly, I told myself if I got pretentious enough to analyze comedy on YouTube, I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror. So the reason why Steven's close-ups work better than Ren and Stimpy's was because of a very special word that no one knows what it really means, but we say it all the time. Irony. The way I understand it, irony is a situation that is almost deliberately opposite of someone's expectations. Like if I were to say, there's no way AI would replace animators in the field, and then I hard cut to an iRobot at his desk saying, whoa, this is hard work. If only there was some kind of technology that could do this work for me. Season 3, episode 13 of SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs gets his millionth dollar, and is thanking his amazing staff who helped him along the way. He even says, a crew like them only comes once in a lifetime. The joke here is that they actually look just extremely incompetent. You might think this here is a gross up, and it probably is, but in the context of SpongeBob, it is not gross enough. After season 3 of SpongeBob, Steven and a lot of the staff leave due to good old creative differences with big corporation. That, along with the budget being a fraction of what it used to be, Nickelodeon demanding more episodes on a crunch, and a staff that wasn't the original, resulted in people calling this era of SpongeBob the Dark Ages. Oh, I also forgot to mention, the staff they decided to hire, a lot of them were the staff that worked on Ren and Stimpy. Also, Bob Camp was there. Look, I'm not saying Steven and co were making Dave Chappelle material in SpongeBob, but I don't know, man. The jokes that led to a close-up back then had a noticeable level of wit and setup. The newest season just hard cuts to the most disgusting, most vile gross-up, and then just expects you to laugh. It wasn't funny when I was 10, and now that I'm an adult, it's just kinda disappointing. Here's a direct comparison comparing the two approaches. I'll be honest, I didn't laugh at either of these burger jokes, but I can appreciate that classic SpongeBob's burger is only disgusting within the realm of a cartoon. They don't try to make anything about this realistic or graphically intense that makes me want to look away. In comparison, and this is a vomit warning, check out season 5's version of the same joke.
Beautiful, huh? How beautiful do you think this is?
The artist of this frame literally had to vomit after making this. It feels kind of disconnected that producers thought that kids at large would think that extreme levels of grotesque is funny. Guy, even fart jokes aren't funny because of the bad smell. It's funny because of the context of doing it in most places is socially unacceptable. Bonus points if I didn't see it coming. Unfortunately, the Ren and Stimpy way of doing close-ups has had way more of an influence than Steven's. The 2010s gave us a lot of shows that made their own gross-ups that would rival SpongeBob. Some surprisingly great, and some of them taking the mantle for Ren and Stimpy. The biggest culprits being Flapjack and Clarence. What a coincidence that these two shows were automatic skips the second they came on. However, there are some shows that are putting up the good fight. This might be the single best close-up since early SpongeBob.
Guys, your disguises! They've fallen off!
In conclusion, disgusting does not equal funny. Only loud equals funny. Honestly, SpongeBob can continue with this humor if they want to. I'm not about to ask a children's IP to pander to me twice in a row. I promise you. This video was a shower thought I had, and if this video does not move the needle forward at all in changing people's mind on animated close-ups, I don't care.